What's up guys, CarVisionLA here. So driving a manual transmission is a great skill to have whether you're a car enthusiast or not. Not only does it allow you to drive a host of really fun and engaging cars, but it's just a really great experience. It's much more fun, much more engaging to just roll through those gears. So today I'm going to be going over the basics on how to drive a manual transmission. So let's get right into it. So driving a manual transmission takes a lot of skill and practice. There are certain skills you have to master before moving on to more complex topics. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the very basics, like getting the car moving, getting the car stopped, upshifting, and going over the controls of a manual transmission vehicle. Once you master those, you can move on to more complex things like rev matching, downshifting, double clutching, reversing, all of that good stuff. I'll be covering those in a future video, so please be sure to stay tuned to get notified when those things dropped, but let's get right behind the wheel. So as you probably know, a manual transmission car has 3 pedals as opposed to 2 in an automatic car. The brake and the gas are in the same spot, but the 3rd pedal is called the clutch, and it's on the far left hand side. Now what does the clutch do? Well, in simple terms, it basically allows the engine and the transmission to engage and disengage manually. Now this is a crucial pedal. It's involved in every single aspect of driving a manual transmission car. Before you actually start driving a manual transmission car, you pump the clutch a few times, get a feel for it, because every clutch on every different car is different. It feels different. The bite point is different. I'll talk about the bite point in a second, but just get acquainted with it before you actually start trying to move the car. So the next key difference you'll notice when driving a manual transmission car is the gear shifter. Now this is not your typical PRND shifter you'll find in your automatic car. This has a shift pattern which tells you how to slot the car into a specific gear. As you can see, this is a 6-speed manual transmission. This is a Volkswagen GTI. If you have a 7-speed manual transmission, you'll have 7 gears plus reverse. If you have a 5-speed, you'll have 5 gears plus reverse. On this car, up and away is 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. And then press down and you get to reverse. Now, the handbrake. A manual car does not have a park gear like an automatic car, so when you park the car, the handbrake always has to be engaged, or else the car will roll away like this. So the key to driving stick shift is slowly giving the car gas while releasing the clutch. Now, you drive with 2 feet. Obviously, there are 3 pedals. Your right foot operates the brake and the gas like you would in an automatic car. Your left foot operates the clutch. So what do I mean by releasing the clutch while giving the car gas? Well, think of your feet as kind of like feathering. So like you're doing kind of an opposite motion like this. What you could do is push down and release the clutch all the way with your whole knee, but that really doesn't give you too much control over the clutch. So if you get the car moving, the car will be really lurchy, and it'll lurch forward, it'll be jerky, won't be very comfortable. But if you don't, you're likely just to stall. I tried that at first when I was learning, didn't work at all, but then I was taught this method. So basically what I do is use my heels as a kind of a pivot point, and then let those kind of move my feet up and down. That gives you so much more control over the clutch. You can do like kind of small movements, kind of really feather the 2 pedals and get the car moving slowly. So basically what you want to do is get behind the wheel of your manual transmission car, put your handbrake down, press the clutch all the way, put the car in 1st gear like this, and then what you want to do is balance the RPMs. I like to balance it between 1 and 2. Slowly give the car gas and then release the clutch like so. You'll start to feel the car sputter and kind of like start to lurch forward. That's called the bite point. So basically when the car reaches its bite point, it kind of wants to move forward because the transmission and the engine are being physically engaged when you are releasing out the clutch. That is a good thing. When you feel the car's bite point, what you want to do is continue giving it the same amount of gas as you did before and keep releasing the clutch like this. I'm going to demonstrate one more time. So I'm in 1st gear right now. I have my foot all the way down on the clutch. Never completely release your clutch when the car is in gear and you're at a standstill. You will stall that way. It's not great for the car. The car will just jerk forward. It'll shut off. Not very fun when you're first learning how to drive stick shift. So my foot's all the way down on the clutch. I have the car in 1st gear. I just took my feet off the brake, and then I'm going to give it gas and slowly, see the car is sputtering forward a little bit. It's reaching its bite point. and there you go. The car is moving. It's simple as that. So I'll visualize it with my hands again. You're gonna slowly put the clutch down. You're gonna give the car gas like this, and then slowly release it like so. Now keep practicing that in a parking lot. Do it as many times as you need to before you get it down. Every car has a different bite point, so once you start to get a feel for the bite point, you're going to really start to master it quickly. So once again, foot on clutch, car in first gear, handbrake down, slowly release the clutch until you feel the bite point, give it gas at the same time, feather the two pedals, release the clutch out fully, and there you go. Car is moving, you're golden. Now, when you get the car moving completely and you release the clutch completely, you do not want to put your foot on the clutch. Don't even rest your foot on the clutch. Don't press it down partially. That's called riding the clutch, and it's not very good for your clutch at all. If you do that a lot, you'll start to smell a really disgusting, rubbery, burning rubber type of smell. That's your clutch material burning up. If you do that a lot, your clutch will give out. You have to get a new clutch. Very expensive repair, not good. So how do you stop the car properly once you're moving? Well, you can always use the brakes. If you need to stop suddenly, the brakes don't just not work. You can press it, but if you try to stop in gear and you come to a complete stop, the car will stall. So don't stop in gear if you can help it. So what are the two ways you can stop a manual transmission car? This is the way that I like. Basically what you do is you want to press completely down on the clutch, put the car in neutral, let off the clutch. You don't have to do it slowly because the car is in neutral. You're not engaging any gear, and let the car coast, and then just hit your brake and you're done. It's easy as that. It's not bad for the clutch. You know, I do that all the time when I'm in traffic. So once again, I'm getting started right now and I want to come to a stop. Clutch in, pop the car in neutral, let off the clutch quickly, and use the brake to come to a stop. Now, the other way that I don't recommend as often, you can do this if you're like stopping and going, but I mainly just use the first method. So I'm gonna get started again, and then what I can do is keep the car in gear, press down on the clutch, and press down on the brake at the same time. So basically that mechanically does the same thing as popping the car into neutral. But if you're going to be stopped for an extended amount of time, you cannot let off the clutch while the car is in gear, or else the car will stall. So if you come to a stop and then you realize you're going to be stopped there for a while, just pop the car out of gear into neutral and then just put your foot on the brake. If you pop the clutch off when the car is still in first gear, the car will stall, and you know that's not good, not great for the car if you do that a lot. I like to use the first method because I don't have to worry about letting my foot off the clutch and stalling the car. But also, if you do the second method a lot, that's not really too great for the clutch. So if you can help it, just do the first method by popping the car into neutral and then using the brake to stop the car. So once again, I'm moving, I want to stop the car, clutch in, car in neutral, use the brake to stop. Simple as that. Takes an extra literally 2 milliseconds and saves your clutch, saves you the hassle of worrying about popping the clutch in gear, and you're stopped. If you need to make a quick stop and you absolutely have to use the brake, then just use the brake. The brake doesn't just stop. The brake still works at all times, but if you come to a complete stop or reach a certain speed in a certain gear, your car will stall and then you'll have to restart it again. So the last basic skill I'm going to talk about today is upshifting. As the car picks up speed, you're going to have to shift up. Now, thankfully, that's really, really easy. I'm going to show it to you in just a few simple steps. Depending on the type of driving you're doing, that dictates when you're going to actually shift into a higher gear. If you're doing some more sporty driving, you let the car rev a little higher, you shift a little bit later. If you want to save gas, you shift a little earlier, you let the car rev a little bit lower. When you're first starting out to drive stick shift, I would recommend shifting at around 2,000 to 3,000 RPM from first to second, or about 15 to 20 miles per hour. That's what I did when I started learning how to drive stick shift. So here I am cruising at about 13 miles per hour. I'm gonna get up to about 20, and then I'm gonna shift from 1 to 2. So to shift from 1 to 2, all you gotta do is press down your clutch fully, move the shifter from first gear to second gear, and then use the same technique I showed you when getting the car started by feathering the clutch and the gas. Now you don't have to do this as gingerly when you are shifting from first to second or second to third or third to fourth or upshifting at any point in time, because that forward momentum will be more forgiving. You still have to let the clutch out reasonably smoothly, or else you'll slam the engine and the transmission into one another. It'll be really lurchy and it's not really great for the car. So I'm going to demonstrate it one more time. So here I am, I'm in first gear going at about 14 miles per hour. I'm going to accelerate to about 20 miles per hour, press down my clutch, shift into second gear, and then feather the gas and the clutch, and boom, there you go. Upshift successfully completed. Well guys, that is going to do it for today. I hope you found this video helpful and informative. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button and follow me on Instagram at CarVisionLA to get notified when I dive into more complex manual transmission topics like rev matching, downshifting, all that other good stuff. I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace out.